Back in 2004, Tim Walz was a social studies teacher in Mankato, Minnesota, who'd just gotten back from an overseas deployment with the National Guard. He found out then President George W. Bush was coming to town and thought it was a teachable moment. And so, according to Josh Green, writing for The Atlantic back in 2006, Walz and two students boarded a Bush campaign bus that took them to a quarry where the president was to speak. But after they had passed through a metal detector and their tickets and IDs were checked, they were denied admittance and ordered back onto the bus. The reason? One of the boys had a John Kerry sticker on his wallet. Indignant, Walz refused to leave. As a soldier, I told him I had a right to see my commander-in-chief, he explained. Bush campaign staffers proceeded to give Walz the third degree. Did he oppose the president? Then Walz asked them if they really wanted to arrest a command sergeant major who just returned from fighting the war on terrorism. They eventually let Walz in, but not his students. And not long after that, he retired from the Army and he ran for Congress as a Democrat. Since then, Walz has been the highest-ranking enlisted veteran in Congress, the top Democrat in the House Veteran Affairs Committee, and now a candidate for vice president. Former Democratic Congressman Patrick Murphy of Pennsylvania was the first Iraq War veteran elected to the House, where he worked closely with Tim Walz. He also served as Undersecretary of the Army under Barack Obama, and he joins me now. Patrick, it's great to have you on the program. My understanding is that you and the governor came in that first class together, I think, right? And you were roommates, is that right?
That's right. We were going through orientation, Chris, in Washington before we took the oath of office, and we were both looking for the cheapest apartment we could get in Capitol Hill because his family was back in Minnesota, mine was back in Pennsylvania, and we got the cheapest place we could find. And he's just a great American. He was a great roommate.
What do you think about how his experience, which really does strike me as pretty novel, 24 years, and then moving over to the House, where he was the Veteran Affairs Committee, would inform how he would do the job as vice president, or if he was, called to, as is the job of vice president.
Yeah, Chris, he literally is one of the leading voices of our post 9/11 generation of veterans. He has put it all on the line. Not just when he was 17 and took that oath under Ronald Reagan, support and defend the Constitution, but in his 24 years, the highest enlisted soldier in American history to serve in the U.S. Congress. And Chris, it wasn't just about getting to Congress. My man worked his tail off to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He's my battle buddy in that fight. He co-authored the post 9/11 GI Bill, where right now, Chris, there is 1.1 million young Americans in colleges and universities on that post 9/11 GI Bill, including J.D. Vance, who went to Yale on it. He has delivered, and now he's delivering, frankly, for the families in Minnesota. Fifth and highest in job creation, the lowest unemployment in America. I mean, he loves his country, he loves American families, and he delivers time and time again.
I gotta say, I thought it was pretty gross and gutter for J.D. Vance to attack his service. He's accused him of basically bailing on a deployment to Iraq. Just to be clear, the chronology is absolutely wrong. He announced his intention to not reenlist, to retire before his unit got the orders to deploy. So it's completely fabricated. Are you surprised by that, or is this sort of par for the course in politics?
Unfortunately, Chris, I'm not surprised. It's unfortunate. They do these swift boat attacks. When I came back from Iraq, I was a lifelong independent, and I saw how they attacked John Kerry, who served with honor, was wounded in Vietnam. I'm named after a Vietnam veteran that gave the ultimate sacrifice. His name was Patrick Ward. My two uncles served in Vietnam. My father served during Vietnam. And they do this time and time again. They did it to me back in 2006. They did it to Tim Walz in 2006. They did it when he's running for Minnesota governor, as you mentioned earlier in his program. And they're now trying to do it again. This is the reality, Chris. We've asked less than 1% of our country to serve in the longest wars in American history. Tim Walz answered that call. He deployed to Italy. You don't get to choose where the Army sends you. The Army sent his battalion of field infantry artillerymen to Vicenza, Italy, which is the 173rd Airborne Division, is where it's based out of, after 9/11. He left his family. He left his job. He did what his country asked him and his brothers and sisters to do. He did it with distinction. He got an honorable discharge For these jokers now to attack his military service, it is beyond the pale. This is one of the reasons why, Chris, we have the least amount of veterans serving in Congress in the 21st century, because when you go in there, they try to attack your military service, something that is so sacred and just wrong.
Patrick Murphy, of course, former congressman from Pennsylvania, served in the Department of Defense under President Barack Obama. It's great to have you on. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, man.